Hello, hello. This is Marsha LaFroth, and I am hoping this is working correctly. I had technical problems. My phone was locked in portrait mode, and I'm really proud of myself for figuring out how to unlock it. I mean, I went to Google. Google is so awesome for learning how to do stuff that I used to have to wait to get in touch with my husband to do. So anyway, I was able to fix it and come on, but I am later than I wanted to be. Okay, today let me actually share this to my Happy Stampers group. So Stamp with Marsha is my business page, my public business page, but I have a private group, Happy Stampers with Marsha, that if you request to join, I'll welcome you in. Okay, so let me just share it there. Now, if you came to my retreat in January, you have already made this little book to hold Post-its, but I just thought I would show everyone else how to make it. What was I gonna say? Okay, Post-its. I probably use them more than the average person because I use them, I teach piano, and I put like the kids' little assignments on there. I use them and I go through them fast. And my favorite brand, they're not actually the Post-it brand, they're called Highland Sticky Notes on Amazon. And I think I have a blog post from many years ago when I made this book. In fact, my little cheat sheet is from many years ago and I had to cover the parts that don't apply to this one. But and I'm pretty sure it has a link to those, but if you search Highland 3x3 sticky notes on Amazon, you can find them. And my little pens also came from Amazon. It was this 24 gel pen pack, and what's left are these colors. I did this at the retreat and I bought like 6 boxes, and we took out, people picked what colors they want. I can't even open this now, but I'm left with all the light colors that would be hard to see on there. So anyway. Okay, so the order I'm gonna go in is show you the basic structure for the Post-it thing, and then the decor. I have a little trick for making the Woolly Friends so much easier to use with the punch than I originally was doing, and you may have already seen this, but it was kind of a game changer for me. Unfortunately, I just checked, and I was hoping, this punch has been out of stock for a bit, and I was hoping it was going to come back in any minute, but it is not expected to come back till April 20th. So my little tip with the punch is only helpful if you already have this. Otherwise, it's like a month before we're going to have that punch back. But I thought this was cute to put in stockings. I'm probably going to give them to piano students. So anyway, we'll start with a basic structure, and then we'll talk about my trick with Woolly Friends. Okay, so our base is 3 1/4 by 10 1/2, and I'm using Highland Heather for this one. And when I cut these for my whole class, I did, maybe I could only do 2 at a time for this one. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to show you one at a time. Okay, so 3 1/4 by 10 1/2. I know this is 11 inches, and I'm just going to make it easy by cutting a 1/2 inch off the bottom, even though I'm going to have to pull out my little arm here to get my score measurements. Okay, so my score measurements now on this thing, this is what's going to become our book, are 3 1/4. I'll do that first. Make sure I'm using the scoring blade instead. 3 5/8. So you go to the 1/2 and you go 1/8 past the 1/2. And then 4. A bunch right in the middle. That's where our pen's going to go. And then 7 1/2 is the next one. Okay, so that's your basic structure, and then you can decorate it however you want. I am using white with a black mat. That really worked out, that the last time I made this, I used the same white and black. But this time I'm doing it on the front and the inside. Before I had something different on the inside, and that's why I covered that part of my notes. Okay, so we're doing that for the inside. All right, so if you have a bone folder, it can help you get your score right better. I'm trying to think which is the front. Okay, the bigger one is the front. Okay, so we're going to do that one down. The one that's right next to all of these little bends. Okay, We're going to go back and forth on those bends. I'm not even sure if that is, yes, that is the right way. I'm actually going to just, so they're kind of like, that's the valley, and then our two mountains. And then this back part just folds inside. You know what's interesting? I'm sorry, I'm just curious. Because when I made this, I kept trying to tweak it to make the bottom a little bit wider so that this didn't overlap like that. But no matter how I tweaked it, it just never quite worked. And so I just kept this pattern. I believe I originally got this, because this is my note from long ago, from Lissa Griffin Zwolonic. But that's where I got this from. Okay, so I'm going to show just putting this together, and then we'll decorate it. Is anyone here with me? No. No surprise. I didn't announce I was doing this. Just came on. Okay, so I'm folding this into the back. That's going to make this nice and strong, okay, to have that back piece there. And then this you're going to want to tape down, but we need our little slit for our pen first. Now, I was originally, you know, trying to use an X-Acto knife to do that. And then I saw how Jana, my friend Jana Unterzuber, did it at my retreat. Instead of, you know, opening it this way and cutting your little lines, she just folded this out and snipped them. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's so brilliant and so much easier. And you don't have to have a little X-Acto knife. Okay, so you just cut, I just eyeballed it. And then you bend it back in. Actually, these go in, and that part you just cut goes out. It's going to be made more clear when I tape that down. It's naturally going to happen when you tape this down. Okay, so let's do that next. Let me grab my tear tape. Okay, I'm making sure, yep, you want, this is the back that's folded in, and you want the section closest to that score line to have your adhesive, okay? So there's the front, that section there is going to have the adhesive. And we'll just get those backs off. I found paper snips are super helpful for getting the backs off of this. And if you ever had that red sticky tape, that was so hard to get off the backs. Okay, and then our little, oh, why is my pen thing not poking out? This should, okay, it just got trapped down in there with it. Okay, then you can slide your little pen in. And then again, I'll see, I maybe should have, oh, that worked. Okay. Then I just tape this flat back here. Now, it's a little bit thick. It's a little bit thicker than the edge. So you can just have it not perfectly lay flat, or you can take some off, or just know you're going to use them. Okay. You know what I didn't do? I did not. I don't think I ever folded on that line. Oh, I did. I don't know. It just seemed like it didn't want to bend for me. Okay. I'm using sticky strip. Now, once, of course, these Post-its are gone, you kind of aren't going to reuse it, and that's okay. It's a dispensable or disposable gift, I guess. You use it and then it's gone. Like a lot of gifts, like gift cards, or I'm sorry, I cannot decide where I want this thing to go exactly. Okay, there it is. And again, it's a little bit thick. Maybe I'll take some off because I know I'll use them. Either way, it's got to sit for a while before it sits flat. Okay, that's your basic structure. Now, let's talk about the Woolly Friends and the way I've learned to do it now, which is much better than the way I've tried to do it before. So you have this Woolly Friends builder punch that cuts 4 pieces at once, but you got to get them in just so. So I would, you know, do the body And then I would come in with the head, and I would do that separate. And of course, all of these things are on separate blocks, and I would try to line that. And then the bow was always particularly tricky because I had to get it at just that angle. Anyway, that's how I did it and how I told everyone at my retreat to do it. And I apologize for that because I did not know the better way. Or I once maybe learned this, but I forgot about it. Okay, so the better way, especially if you're going to make a bunch, is to make a little template for your stamps to all go at one. So I'm making, well, so you'd only have to do this once. Now if you're only going to make one, this may not be worth it. But at my recent class, we made these cards, and it was so much faster to have this on our block set up. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like when you punch. So what you do is you take those stamps and you line them up. I put this underneath only so I could see around it, because the first time I tried doing it with just white underneath and I couldn't see. So I'm going to fit those. I'm trying to really center them into those open spaces with the stamp, the side that's going to stamp down. Now these do have a little bit of an edge around them, which is a little tricky to get perfect, but we're going to hope for the best. Now I'm using the bow, so I didn't put the bell on, but you could stick the bell in there if you wanted to, obviously. Now I am kind of fussy with it to try to get it just right. And then you come in with your block and you get all of those stuck on your block at once, okay? And then those are there for the next 20 cards you make, you know, however many you want to do. And then, so I either want to do it on left or right, because I'm going to come in one direction or the other. And I like to punch with my right hand. So I'm going to stamp on my left side. Okay, so we stamp, and then they should all just stamp together at once. And I'm telling you, this just made my life so much easier, and it made it the life easier of my guests and my class to have that set up. So thank you to Jen Doolin and Tara Golem, who Jen planned one of these for our team's shoebox swap, and she had it laid out like this. And silly me was like, why is that on there like that? And I moved them. And then Tara was like, Marsha, you messed this up. You need to keep that, okay? So there we have those. Now, these are meant, all of these images, the tulips. I'll tell you two ways you can do it. I've lost my other images. Oh, there we are, the tulips. When you stamp them, you can see they have stamps you could stamp again over the top to color them in. You can color in your bow that way, or your flowers, or your sheep. I just chose instead, because that's a lot more blocks and things to line up. Hey Anne, long time no see. I just colored them in with my blends, and that felt easier to me. But okay, so if you were wanting to make this exact design, you have two white mats, 2 3/4, and we're going to do the sponging for both the front and the inside at the same time. And I used Granny Apple Green and Pool Party on this. Balmy Blue would also be great. That's the color I did the sky on this one. And I'm going to put a little of these grass lines on the bottom at the first. I'm just going to do one for the sake of not having this take too long. So I just did grass, and on this one I just skipped stamping grass. I just went right to tulips and sponged some green, because this grass, that's fine, but it wasn't my favorite to work with. And it looks kind of funny, but once you sponge over the top, it's fine. So while my my thing is open, let's see if I can find my, oops, I just whacked my camera. That is not the one. I'm trying to find the ones I just used. Oh, good. That are already inkied, or they already have the color on them. Okay, so I'm using, I kind of like the little one for just having more control, but this is a bigger space, so I'm going to use the big one. By the way, I saw that, so our new catalog is coming out in May, and we as demonstrators got a sneak peek, and the price on these, oh, I'm not getting enough ink there, on these blending brushes is going up a little bit. I can't remember if it's $2 or $1, but if you don't have them yet, they're really great. I'm pushing pretty hard because I think my ink is running low. And then, so I did your Simply Fabulous on the front with sending flowers and sunshine on the inside. You could switch those. It's fun to have the little U. This gave me a little more room because it's a little smaller too. And then I would stamp 2 rows of tulips. And I think on the inside, I just went straight across. Obviously didn't leave an opening because I don't have my sheep to go there. And then we would color. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all this. I'll just show you how I chose to do it like that. But there is a stamp that would stamp the inside of all of yours. So if you don't have blends, you could do that. Now we're going to use the magic of television and pull out everything I already colored so that this can go faster. On my sheep, I just traced around the inside with some smoky slate and a little flirty flamingo on the nose and ears. And I did flirty flamingo, Highland heather, and either lemon lolly dark or light daffodil delight. I can't remember for sure which one I did. And then on the inside, same thing. I colored my little butterflies with daffodil delight and Highland heather. Okay, and then that's kind of it. We're just sticking it together. And so my question for today, because Easter is coming up, is what are your Easter traditions? We usually have, even though my kids are quite older now, they're all adults except one 14-year-old. We still do an Easter egg hunt with our adult kids in the backyard. They quite like it, and we usually put money inside the eggs, not any great quantities. When my mother-in-law was living, she would have an Easter egg hunt in her backyard, and they put like high quantities of money in, so of course they really liked that. But I mean, we always go to church, I guess. Yes, we do, because it's always on a Sunday. We always go to church, and then we usually go to dinner at my father-in-law's. But this Sunday, or this Easter, I'm going to be in Utah with my family, my parents and sisters and brothers. I'm going there to attend my team member Cindy. Some of you know Cindy Lake. She's having a retreat when I'm going to go to with my mom on April 8th. I know you guys want to know every detail of my life, but I'm going early, and I will get to spend Easter with my parents for the first time. And I mean, I don't think I've been there ever on Easter since I got married 26.5 years ago. So I'm pretty excited about that. Sorry, I decided I like to glue his head first and then put dimensionals on. So anyway, I'll be there. And actually, I am not going to be at church because my church, they have on twice a year this broadcast from our church leaders, and it just happens to fall on Easter this year, so I'll kind of be watching church at home. But anyway, all right. And then I probably should have slipped his little bow under first. This is how I do my little lamb. Oops, I got glue there. That's what the silicone's mat's for, is that you can get glue and it will wipe off and not be sticky. But you know, I thought I was going to do a better job. I like to do it this way because then I can anchor that head to the body with some Post-it notes. So anyway, tell me about your Easter traditions, and you'll get entered to win this little Post-it note. I will send it to you. If I don't have your address, sometimes I've had someone win who I don't know, and I'll message them on Facebook and say I need your address, and I don't hear back, and so then I can't give you the price. Anyway, that is today's project. There's the inside, there's the front, there's the measurements. You just do 2 of these for this one. Again, this was an old thing I happened to have and I was in a hurry, so I didn't rewrite it. But that's today's project. You could slip that in an Easter basket and tell me about your Easter plans, and you'll get entered to win one of these. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.